So I think I've already established in my last two Should You Plays that I am really into Cyberpunk. The bittersweet pairing of high tech and low life is oddly appealing to me and I just can't seem to get enough of it. Naturally, I decided to keep the streak going, which is why we're looking at yet another Cyberpunk video game. The Red Strings Club is a narrative experience about fate and happiness, or at least that's what the Steam store page claims. It seems to be pretty popular, so let's check it out and determine whether it deserves the very positive ratings. The Red Strings Club is a cyberpunk adventure game. The story is that the corporation Supercontinent Ltd is planning on releasing social psyche welfare, a system that will eliminate depression, anger, and fear from society. Our main characters don't think of this as an improvement, but brainwashing, which is obviously the reason why they want to stop this. I don't really want to get further into the story because I feel that it's best experienced pretty much completely blind. Let me just say though that I personally feel that it was something very special. I've seen people complain about it being too political or just flat out pretentious, and even though I can see where they're coming from, I don't really share their opinion. I really enjoyed it. The story kinda made me feel things, something I almost forgot games are capable of making me do. The gameplay is pretty interesting as well. A big part of it is dialogue only, but throughout the game you play a variety of different minigames, from genetic, implant pottery, and psychological bartending to vocal corporate espionage. You have a bunch of choices in the game that can heavily change dialogues. During the bartending sections of the game, for example, you can influence what your customers feel depending on what drinks you serve them. This can also change what and how much information certain characters give you. This also leads to some pretty good replayability. You can't just save and get a redo just because you're not happy with something you said or with the reply you got. You have to live with the consequences whether you like it or not. Because of this, I'm pretty sure I'll have to play through the game at least once more to see what I could have done differently. That's not a bad thing though, since the game clocks in at just over 4 hours for one playthrough, and the replayability makes me feel that I got my money's worth. Something I feel I should mention is the fact that the gameplay can be a bit wonky every now and then. Whether it's how you sometimes can't tell when bottles will start pouring out liquid, or the weird stiff controls of the implant pottery, those minigame parts of the game just feel unpolished, and whenever I was confronted with one of them, I honestly just couldn't wait to get back to the dialogue. I should point out though that the game just wouldn't be the same without those gameplay sections, and even though I might not think that they are perfect, they absolutely make the game more enjoyable in the end. Something I can't nitpick about is the art style, which is absolutely gorgeous. Beautifully crafted pixel sprites and backgrounds make the game look very appealing, pleasing your eyes from start to finish. The visuals aren't the only treat though. The soundtrack is beautifully composed as well and will only further help you get immersed into this experience. Fingerspit really outdid herself with this one. If you're not planning on playing the game, at least check the soundtrack out on Spotify. It's pretty damn good. I also want to talk a bit more about the writing. I've already mentioned that people call it pretentious, and it's totally understandable. The Red Strings Club forces you to think about problems in society and the different ways of dealing with them. Is it okay to influence people's emotions and feelings if it allows you to turn the world into a better place? How far would you go to achieve peace and happiness? Would you limit the range of emotions people can feel? Aren't our depression, anxiety, and unwarranted hate for certain things part of what makes us human? The game's delivery is spot on and it knows exactly what it's doing. It's pretty amazing, to be honest. Of course, I understand that these are topics not everybody wants to deal with, especially in a video game. I honestly don't think that there's a lot more to say about the Red Strings Club, at least not without ruining the whole experience. It might not be for everyone, but if you've got a thing for cyberpunk, or if this whole moral mumbo jumbo sounds interesting to you, I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy this. The game is beautifully crafted, and you can absolutely tell that a lot of love and passion was put into it. This video might have been a bit dry, with a bunch of information and not a lot of humor, but making a funny video was honestly not my intention this time around. All I wanted to do is get the word out that I really enjoyed the Red Strings Club and tell other people to play it. And with that, should you play the Red Strings Club? Yes.